go again. Let me not go any further because you know that I'm not a good singer. But I have to use those words, here we go again, because it has to deal with the Jamaica Football Federation. And yes, we spoke about them recently. And yes, this is about a trip that they journeyed to the Jamaica football team to Saudi Arabia late last year. But however, it has turned somewhat because recently there was a voice note that was leaked regarding or featuring the president of the JFF, the vice president, and the GenSec, along with the captain of the Jamaica football team. First and foremost, how come that voice note was leaked? If you listen to it intently and keenly, you realize that the captain of Jamaica football team, his voice was solid. If you realize the other voices coming through was coming through a speaker. So I am assuming, and yes, it's an assumption on my part, that it was taped right beside the captain of the Jamaica team. He may go into some trouble for that, but hey, let's see what happens or what unfolds. But putting that aside, listening to the conversation with the JFF and the captain, I have to ask something. Who is in charge? Who is in charge of the JFF? We heard from all three big members or big wigs of the JFF, and I asked the question again over and over while I was listening for 20 minutes. Who is in charge of the JFF? Yes, sure, they have their positions of president, VP, and GenSec, but who is the boss? Who are on things? It doesn't sound like the president to me from what I heard on that voice note. Now, putting that also aside, it was said during the conversation by one of the individuals from the JFF that they're not running a patty shop. Well, come on, a patty shop. I've been to many patty shops for the last couple of days, and the patty shops I've been into, I think, is a bit more established and run a little bit more better than the JFF or what we have seen from the JFF for the last couple of weeks. So I would not place JFF with patty shops, not at all. Chalk and cheese, and we know who is the chalk and who is the cheese in that. So please leave out the patty shops out of your discussion. Just a word of advice. And then the latter part of that discussion showcased the manager popping up. Yes, the manager of the football team. Now, I don't know the policy of the JFF if it regards the manager to deal with the players' money or remuneration, discussion regarding their pay. But if it does, and if it does, I don't think it should. I think the manager should be there to manage the team on any escapades or any matches they go on or any traveling they do. But to manage and to talk about my money and discuss my money, no, I don't think that's for you. That's my opinion. I don't think it's for you. I think it's for the president and the GenSec or even the VP. Discuss that with the players because you're responsible for me if I'm in Ching Chong Chu or China. It doesn't matter where I am. And say if you're upset with me because I got a little bit more, how you deal with me then? So I don't think that's for you, to be honest. I don't think you should have been in that discussion, whether it's a policy or not of the JFF. And finally, two things. It showed me how important school is. Yes, important school is. Because when you listen to the captain, and you know that he went to a tertiary education or institution, you know that, hey, he did well at school. And he showcased his talent. Wasn't perfect, but he did what he was set out to do. However, there's another thing. There's a thing called the transfer window in football, and you should know that who follows football. But transfer window is for players. And what has happened for the Jamaican players last couple of years or 20, 15 years or so, they have traveled all over the globe and they have seen or gone into organizations which are professional organizations and see how they run things and see how they do things and see the payment that players get and they get while representing the clubs. So they're in professional organizations. When they come home, it's not the same. So I think FIFA should implement a transfer window for presidents, VP, and GenSec. So rather than staying home or in the Caribbean, they should journey to first world countries or clubs, top clubs, not wagga wagga clubs, top clubs across the world and see how they run things, how they play players or pay players, and how they deal with their players on trips. because I think they lack the skill of that. They lack the knowledge of that. I think that's what they should do. JFF, ask FIFA to implement that, and the president, the VP, and the GenSec get a 2-year trip to maybe Barcelona, Real Madrid, Inter Milan as clubs and see how they run their organizations as professionals. Because what is happening now, that the players are learning a lot and they're going ahead mentally, how the game is being done now. But the president, the VP, and the GenSec, the persons who run or pull the strings of the JFF, they are left behind in the dark ages. That needs to be changed. From what I heard from that conversation, something needs to be done. That's Sean's law. What say you?